डियर स्टूडेंट्स एंड वेलकम बैक टू इंग्लिश विद प्रोफेसर तबस्सुम। आज की हमारी वीडियो में हम डिस्कस करेंगे पैसेज आंसर्स फॉर एन इंटरव्यू शॉर्ट स्टोरी फ्रॉम इंटरमीडिएट सेकेंड ईयर इंग्लिश। So this is the first passage. Read the following passages and answer the questions that follow in a word or a sentence each. I am not the dean, he explained. I am the medical school secretary. I was secretary here long before you were born, my boy. Before your father, probably I remember well enough when the dean himself came up to be admitted. He removed his glasses and pointed them at me. I've seen thousands of students pass through the school. Some of them have turned out good and some of them bad. It's just like your own children. I nodded heartily, as I was anxious to please everyone. Now, young fella, he went on more briskly, I've got some questions to ask you. I folded my hands submissively and braced myself mentally. Have you been to a public school? He asked. Yes. Do you play rugby, football, or association? Rugby. Do you think you can afford to pay the fees? Yes. He grunted and without a word withdrew. Left alone, I diverted my apprehensive mind by running my eye carefully over the line of black and white pictures of past deans, studying each one in turn. After 10 minutes or so, the old man returned and led me in to see the living holder of the office. So, this is your first passage. Now, let us see the question and answers. Question number one. I am not the dean, he explained. Who does the word I refer to? So, the word I refers to the old man, the secretary of the medical school. Second question. How long was the secretary there in the college? He was there probably before the narrator and his father were born. Okay. Then, name the games mentioned in the passage football and rugby. What was the last question to the speaker? He asked about the affordability of the fees. How did the narrator divert his apprehensive mind? By looking at the black and white pictures of the past deans. Where did the old man take the narrator? The old man took the narrator into the Dr. Lionel Loftus's room. Pick the word from the passage which means have enough money to pay. Means can afford to pay. Okay. Pick the antonym means opposite of the word slowly. It's briskly. Second passage. He frowned at his paper pad for a few seconds. His face suddenly lightened, and I saw he had come to a decision. My hands gripped the arms of the chair as I waited to receive it. Rising, he shook me briskly by the hand and told me he had pleasure in admitting me to St. Swithin's. I wondered for some time afterwards how he had been able to discover from these questions that I had the attributes of a successful doctor, but later found out that even his brief interview was superfluous, as the dean always took the advice of his old secretary and told applicants whose looks this man disliked that there were no vacancies. Now let us look at the question and answers. Question number one. My hands gripped the arms of the chair. What does it express? It expresses the narrator's anxiety or nervousness. What was the narrator waiting for? He was waiting for the dean's decision, whether he selected or not. What did the dean do raising from the chair? The dean shook the narrator briskly. Okay. Why did the narrator wonder? The narrator wondered how the dean was able to discover from these questions that he could be a successful doctor. Then later he found out something. What was it? He later found out that the interview with the dean was only superfluous. Pick the word from the passage that means not necessary. That is again superfluous. How were the applicants selected for admission? The applicants were selected for admission based on the opinion of the old man, secretary of the medical school. Why was the interview superfluous? The interview seemed superfluous as the questions asked were not related to the profession.